All right then. Hello and welcome everybody. This is us doing another movie commentary. We are going to be going through the animated Hobbit
Movie
movie.
commentaries.
Yes, the animated Hobbit movie
Woo!
from 1977. Specifically the Rankin Bass
The
production.
Hobbits.
Although it's not the original Rankin Bass production because we couldn't find physical copies of that. So we're going to be going through a fan recreation and remastering, technically, of the movie. It has additional sound effects and clarity, which I use air quotes when I use the term clarity there because it ends up being slightly upscaled, and that causes jittery in a couple of the early scenes and later on. I've not actually watched it all the way through myself yet, so a lot of the additional effects are probably going to be somewhat shocking to me. But yeah, that is what we're doing. I will attempt to link in the description where I picked this up. So yeah, are we ready, Mr. Cloud?
We're as ready as we're going to be. This is my first time seeing the entire Hobbit. This is Gerdat's first time seeing the fan remastered Hobbit, so I think this is going to be a good experience.
All right
The
then.
question is, viewers, are you ready?
I certainly hope not,
Very
because
good.
that means that they have significantly better internet than I do. Oy.
All right, count us down, Mr. Gerdat.
Okay then. 3, 2, 1. Press play. And don't worry, there's a 2-second black screen at the start.
In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit.
Now, Cloud, don't steal Gandalf's job.
Like the shaky graphics.
Where
Oh,
is that?
like
View.
circa
Full screen
800 AD.
interest. Yes.
Yep. That means
Specifically the comforts of home.
red-headed
Now,
hobbits.
well, brown, but enhanced.
uh,
Green door.
I like how expressive his eyes are. E minor chord.
Yeah, burglars have got increased critical hit chance, don't you know? And bath time. I was always confused about that line
Ah!
as a kid.
I was sent by he who is called I am.
Pretty much, yeah. We must away at
We
break
must
of
awaken the
day.
dawn. Oh,
But yes, as an animated picture from the '70s, there are a lot of music pieces in this movie. Most of
knights
them are
in
pretty
white
good.
satin. Dory. Dory, Nori, Ori.
Call him Biffa and him Boffa.
Biffers, boffers, and all kinds of fuckers.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Glasses black the plates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Yes, I can quote a majority of the songs, by heart. I have seen not this version of this movie, but this movie so goddamn much. I am a huge fan of this movie, to be perfectly honest, and I'm gonna have difficulty hiding that.
Why are they piling up plates without washing them?
They're washing them, we just don't get to see it.
I think South Park used to make fun of that like chorus trope during these epic adventures. Lemmy
Must
winks.
away ere break of day. Now, a lot of the complaints that I'll end up having throughout this commentary are going to be aimed specifically at the Peter Jackson directed, sequel to Lord of the Rings, of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because they're, although I really enjoy the first movie, Unexpected Journey, the other two mostly below. Never fall out.
Hear, hear.
Behold expositional poetry. That which is
Treasure.
rightfully ours.
The most powerful treasure in Middle-earth.
No, actually.
Now the mountain misty up, there's a dragon hiding treasure. We're going for treasure!
I have to say that the scoring for this movie is fucking beautiful.
I love Led Zeppelin.
Places deep where dark things sleep.
Yeah, I like this style. Like, shit's happening on screen, there's a narrator. Feels very much like the book.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah. On gems on hilt of sword. I will grant that the poetry is cheesy, but it really, enhances the sense of adventure that it's building up to,
Well, the use of rhyme schemes it makes it easier to remember the legend because it rhymes. So that's a classic memory heuristic. Okay, now have they already set out on their adventure? Like, what the hell's happening?
Yes, the dwarves have, but they're here to recruit Bilbo. Thorin is expositing at us.
All right, so this is just exposition. This is not actually happening right now.
Yes. This has already happened. Beneath his feet, beneath the moon.
We must avenge all of our dreams. So fucking 70s.
Yes, but very epic still.
Oh. All right, Mr. Headphones. I got some batteries for you.
Oh, we
Hear
don't
that?
we don't want more
Keep the
technical
commentary
issues.
going for a second, buddy.
All right.
I'm counting on you. This is your quest, Gerdat Baggins.
It is my quest because this is awesome. I'm not entirely sure why, but we seem to be hitting a little bit of desync on my player. But that's okay. We're approaching the opening credits. So, one of the big issues that the sequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, has got is that it is really, really long. Uh, and this is a problem that's even in Unexpected Journey, to be perfectly honest. Whereas here, we're only, 8 minutes in, and although that is still a lengthy time to get to the opening credits, we've already had our major plot exposition, our call to adventure, and we're just about to set out after the opening credit sequence and the dream sequence that Bilbo goes on. We'll be out on our adventure.
Whew.
Whereas Unexpected Journey takes like half an hour to go through all these points, and it's also a much more grim atmosphere throughout most of that, because Thorin is so goddamn serious throughout all three of those movies, and he kind of needs to. He kind of needs to be for the tone that they're attempting to mimic, because they're trying to. Because as the Dom points out in his reviews, they're trying to mimic the tone and scale of the Lord of the Rings, which the Hobbit is not really trying to do. It's its own smaller fantasy world that just gets attached to the Lord of the Rings later, because the Lord of the Rings doesn't exist yet.
Well, The Hobbit ought to introduce everybody to J.R.R. Tolkien's style, and his style is pretty consistent throughout the Middle Earth books.
Yes, but not for the Hobbit. From the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Silmarillion, yes, but the Hobbit is way more whimsical. And I've not even read the Hobbit, but that's the primary take that I get from all the other people who have actually read the Hobbit.
Right. Like me. I read The Hobbit, and I enjoyed it very much. It was a little leather-bound book with golden gilding.
Yay!
Like an adventure journal.
Yep. Which is what it is in universe, at least according to the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
How could you leave your pipe at home?
He has teleportation powers.
In case you haven't guessed it, I am a wizard.
My garden at twilight. Cakes. Simple things. Simple comforts of home.
These will take me through this rainstorm. Which is not actually... This is before they decided that showing raindrops landing on the characters was cool. It's literally just another layer of animation with the rain.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the trolls?
Yes.
They're not that big.
I know, they look more like kobolds, but, 70s movie.
Yeah, 70s movie. All the characters are the same size. They're all short.
No, the trolls are much larger. They just look the same size on screen.
Right, because they don't have a standard of comparison.
Right.
Oh, I see now.
Now, have you ever had hot chestnuts, dude?
That's a very good question. I had cold chestnuts, and I cracked them, and it was fun. These guys want to crack Bilbo.
Yes, they do. He wouldn't make a mouthful. Now, is that an eye patch or an eye socket?
That's an eye patch. It's too hairy.
Are you sure?
I mean, one thing is for sure. He cannot see out of that eye.
Right.
Yep, leave little Bilbo behind. There's a smorgasbord waiting.
Into the cave.
Well, I will hide like a coward. Oh, they got everybody. Well, that was easy.
Each to his own, boys. I love a majority of the voice acting that's in this game, as we'll get into later with Gollum and Smaug. This this movie has got a lot of very quotable moments,
Fucking,
especially
well,
for those of us that like evil sounds.
the use of dialogue helps us learn the pace at which the author intended the story to be told. No. We are nocturnal trolls.
Yes.
We are turned to stone.
Now, is that a weakness that trolls have natively in the rest of the Lord of the Rings universe?
I can't say. I don't think I've seen trolls in any of the 3 Peter Jackson movies that I saw.
There's a mountain troll in Fellowship.
The mountain troll. Mountain troll. Oh, you mean that the troll that they find
Well,
when they go to the
Moria.
when they go to the Dwarf Kingdom?
Yeah.
Well, that was a I mean, I guess those trolls were pretty big. But if he's a mountain troll, that means that he's got resistance to frost.
And Earth. Something that will not be covered in this movie or the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, I like that. The hobbits are basically using short swords as like great swords.
Yeah. Because short sword is a relative term for the race of men.
I will strike you down with a butter knife. And all of the butter goes, no!
And why didn't you show us this when we were just about to set out?
Oh, dude. Like, that happens all throughout The Hobbit, is very slow revealing of details. Nothing is known until it's needed to be known.
Yep.
Because if he told them everything up front, they wouldn't be induced to go on an adventure. They would be too scared.
Which are invisible. Yes and no. As The Hobbit brings up, the other sentient species around the mountain likely know about the door, but most of the humanoids do not.
How do you find it if it's a secret? That's what a fucking secret is. It's unknown.
See, Gandalf knows that there are moon letters on this map, but he doesn't know how to read them.
Well, it shows that Gandalf is not perfect. He is a wizard, but he is not God.
Mm.
Oh. Rivendell. But
And in this movie, Rivendell is literally a house.
Yeah, they do go to a house at some point by the Beast Man, whose name escapes me right now.
Beorn.
Beorn, thank you.
No, we are not at that part, but this movie will not have us be introduced to Beorn.
What? He was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Beorn's cool, but, you know, he's not in this movie.
But that scene was so funny.
Again, 70s movie, dude.
But '70s movie can't make omitting major details a thing.
Well, it does. There's a lot of major details from the Hobbit that get omitted here.
And that's Elrond.
Yep. I know he doesn't look anything like Leonard Nimoy, but
Leonard Nimoy.
or no, it's not Leonard Nimoy. It's what's his name? Agent Smith. Hugh Grant, right? It's
No.
Hugh Grant.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. Thank you, Hugo Weaving, one of the best
Yep.
villains in sci-fi.
We're going to use. No, it's funny. It's a story about people using artifacts from, quarters to whole centuries ago, and here we got Hugo Weaving trying to use a movie made 25 years ago as a guide to how he should look.
Yep.
These are the instructions to the door.
Shine upon the keyhole.
Yep. There is a door that needs a key.
Yes. And we're about to encounter my second favorite song of the movie.
Was it in the top billing?
I don't think so. I think Greatest Adventure takes top billing for the songs in this movie.
Feed the asses. Yeah, they truncated the story, and I understand why they had to, because they only have an hour and 15 minutes to tell you the whole of The Hobbit, where Peter Jackson fucking spent 9 hours going over The Hobbit and inventing a bunch of shit that did not exist.
6, but it's still too much.
So here's Bilbo being reminded of how this whole crazy adventure started in the first place. Just a bunch of people showing up at his house and absconding with him, basically. But that trope was parodied through Beorn, because Beorn also had a bunch of people show up at his house for seemingly no reason, and it was not supposed to work like that.
Dum 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 dum. You go my land, ho ho my land. And as a kid, this made it so that I was forever in love with evil music.
Bad guy
Welcome
music.
to Goblin Town, Cloud.
We are goblins, we are goblins, we are goblins.
You
No,
go my land,
we must defeat the Goblin
my
King
land.
to free my friends. Evil chain-wielding goblins.
Yes. Notice that in this movie that the goblins are actually bigger than the dwarves, whereas in the Peter Jackson trilogy the goblins are actually smaller than the dwarves, but they outnumber them significantly.
I am the Goblin King.
Orcrist, the Goblin Cleaver.
Ah, yes, Orcris. I'm going to eat you. Uh-oh. Knights
Behold,
in white
Gandalf cast bright
satin.
light. So Gandalf, standing 400 feet away, manages to kill the Goblin King in a single sword swipe.
Oh, dude, if Luke could take out the entire Imperial battalion without even being on the same fucking galaxy, like, yeah. Gandalf has got
I
this.
have
He's
not
magic.
actually seen Last Jedi.
That's why I'm going to use vague details to refer to the scene I'm talking about.
Oh, dude, I know that scene, certainly. I've not seen it, but,
Everybody knows that scene. It is
Yeah.
amazing.
Rump.
Oh,
Again, the
yeah, that's
scoring
right.
in this movie is fucking amazing.
So there was supposed to be a commercial break right there.
Yes.
Made for TV. Yep, they get separated, and let's pay a visit to our good friend Gollum.
Gollum, who looks like a freaking leech.
He looks like a frog.
Yes. Food for my precious. Sploosh. Again, the voice acting in this movie is amazing. I'm trying not to talk over too much of it because I want people to if they are actually watching along, to be able
with
to
us,
enjoy
yeah.
the movie with us. Cause yeah, this is Cloud's first viewing and it should be special.
That's my soul, I can see. With the sword, tee-hee-hee. Hello there. Yes, a little unseemly shiny ring.
Look at how hairy Bilbo's feet are.
Yes, he has hairy hobbit feet. Very consistent. See, Andy Serkis had to do a little invention when he created his Gollum.
Yes, and honestly, Andy Serkis plays the duality of Gollum really well, whereas here Gollum is just a single personality.
Gollum in this movie so far is just a hobo.
Yep. He is a hobo who lives in the goblin tunnels. Likes riddles? It loses a point. Oh, or that, yeah.
How very reasonable, Savage.
So what do you think of the voice acting so far, Mr. Cloud?
It's ensconcing me pretty good.
Juicy, gooey, yummy. Is it scrumptious?
Inside, a golden treasure is hid.
It's a Super Bowl trophy.
But the Lombardi trophy is silver.
Oh. And here's my favorite song in the movie.
Cannot be here, better be said. Yeah, it's creating that sense of dread that, like, what if he gets the riddle
Yes,
wrong?
it's very dreadful and haunting. Oh, look, skeletons!
That's you, Bilbo, if you can't answer this child's riddle.
The answer is dark. The dark. I will say the trip to Goblin Town is my favorite part of this movie. And it's not my favorite dialogue exchange, though. Notice how we're panning away in order to establish the scale and the stakes of this. Bilbo has no idea how the fuck to get out, so he has to win this riddle. Whereas Gollum is in his home element and is able to just totally dominate Bilbo on presence alone.
And Gollum is shouting incomprehensible riddles at him.
Yes. What is that answer? What is it answer?
I have to think about it first.
It will.
What? I can't hear you.
Now, in the Peter Jackson trilogy, it's Gollum that actually slips up here and gives
Gollum
Bilbo
is
the
angry.
answer, and Bilbo just accepts it. It just accepts it. Whereas here, he doesn't guess it, and he doesn't guess it, but he does on accident. Ask. A toothpick.
Do it. A cell phone?
This is honestly a pretty interesting take on Gollum. Whereas Peter
Then
Jackson
Bowie.
is mostly, a dark gnome or a corrupted hobbit, as he actually is in the book. This is mostly, more of an amphibious monster. Humanoid still, but, corrupted by frog and age.
So you see, if you leave a human being in a body of water long enough, it starts to grow gills.
That's not how evolution works, Cloud. A golden ring, a magic ring. I do love this scene, though.
The pleasure of having something to talk about while swimming. Stolen.
Bilbo, you shouldn't brag about stealing gold things.
Dramatic aside. No. Lost.
Lost! It's not a good TV show.
The one consistent trend among all iterations of Gollum is, of course, his inability to cope with frustration.
Yes. My birthday present. Have you ever gotten jewelry as a birthday present, Cloud?
I've gotten it as a first communion gift,
I don't think I've ever
but
gotten
not for
jewelry
my
as a present.
birthday. Some celebrations call for it.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to be a fucking boss, you can laminate your diploma and hang it around your neck.
Nah. That's just showing off something. That's just showing off a useless piece of paper for most people.
Trapped inside a box for long years, hiding from the world, punished by your peers. Grab a piece of paper, now go for the start.
It says it doesn't know a way out, but it knows a way in, my precious. The performance for Gollum in this movie is awesome, and most of the performances are actually pretty awesome, honestly.
We spend so much time here so far. My God.
Yes, we do.
Because he is, how some people say, loquacious.
Yep.
He's actually quite hilarious.
Oh, that clever Baggins. Burglar.
It's make an escape. Kick.
Tally ho!
It was hilarious and terrible and hilarious. Invisible, so to speak.
Out of the way.
Gandalf, it's not nice to hide these things from your compatriots.
Tell us what you know, great bearded wizard man.
And I love this coming up song. With the goblins, 15 birds in 5 fir trees, their feathers were fanned by a fiery breeze. What fine little birds, they had no wings. Oh, what shall we do with the funny little things? Oh, what shall we do with the funny little things? Now, in canon, the goblins are actually singing this song as they run down the dwarven party.
Yes, they were. The songs made quite numerous appearances in The Hobbit, as I remember. They were all italicized and separated, kind of like the Hogwarts song that nobody ever heard in any of the Harry Potter movies until Goblet of Fire.
I do love that sequence in Goblet of Fire, though. It is very evil.
Oh yeah, I mean, he finds a fucking dead body. Like, that's metal. So is burning down the woods while singing in sea.
And the first appearance of eagles being a deus ex machina. Charge!
Bird X escape hatch. Bum 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 bum. Motherfucking goblins ain't gonna eat dicks. We're flying. We're safe.
My legs.
Oh, Bilbo forgot to attach his parachute. I saw that
Parachutes
video.
haven't
That
been
was
invented
intense
yet,
shit.
Cloud.
The camera is still rolling, yes?
And this is where this is where Unexpected Journey ends. And honestly, I knew it was going to end here when I was first watching Unexpected Journey in the theater, but I was still disappointed with it.
Now, do they talk to the Lord of Eagles and then the movie ends?
The Eagle Troop just drops them off, and then they stare at the lonely mountain because now it's suddenly visible.
Be kind to your friends, and they will save your asses.
Well, that's the moral of that particular rescue, since the whole reason the Lord of Eagles helps out Gandalf is because in the book, Gandalf had rescued the Lord of Eagles from an arrow in his wing.
Right. And then the dwarves needed to be assured that the eagles did not just pick them up maliciously and totally at random.
Yeah. Although it was, in fact, totally at random.
Because they seem to be preoccupied with dying because of that.
I'm gonna go fight a necromancer.
No! Damn it!
Me?
Of course, you had magic in your heart all along.
Fuck you, Mati.
Wink.
Shit. Oh, Lemmy Wings is on a journey.
You actually read
it
The
was
Hobbit,
Gandalf's idea. Yes.
Now, I know
it was
that
in
there
a
aren't
very
very many women.
charming little book that I picked up from my local library.
I know that there aren't very many women at all in Tolkien's works, but I'm gonna have to ask: are any Hobbit women actually sexualized in The Hobbit?
Yes, they are. In fuck, I'm thinking. They also might have been elf women, but I digress. Is that the adventure must come first, as a sperm must travel through the acidic vagina.
Huh.
You see, Bilbo he's on a quest to be born again. And he's gonna make it.
Not really. Bilbo doesn't want to be on this quest. He's just here because, they kind of forced him to be there. I mean, in this movie...
Because circumstance.
In this movie, it's more voluntary than it was in the book specifically. But in Unexpected Journey, it's more voluntary. But, pretty much after Rivendell, Bilbo doesn't want to be on this journey, at all anymore.
He's doing his best.
He is doing his best, but that's in protest, because nobody else wants to fucking help him. Again, the dwarves are useless in this story. They're here because we needed a party of adventurers.
Well, he's too far involved now, because he's at the point where he has learned as much about this journey as the rest of the troop, and that other people would have insufficient experience in his place, especially Gandalf, who had just left them all.
This shot is beautiful, though.
Never good like my daddy did. Carry me on the highway. They beat me on the highway.
I wondered if I actually wanted to. Yeah, that shot is awesome. Here, have a very shocking next shot.
Yeah. But it's all gray, though. Now it's even more gray.
Yeah, because now we're supposedly at twilight. Or, back in the underbrush of the trees.
I have magic sword of power. And epic dodge roll.
At least Bilbo's dodge roll works.
Honestly, if you could adjust the height... If you could adjust the height in Dark Souls, Bilbo would make an amazing dwarf character who would just jump around and fucking... I mean, he's in homeware right now, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Chubby little houseware.
I like that prose, honestly.
Dude, Tolkien has some beautiful poetic prose.
Yeah, and then he goes into long tangents about his prose, and it's like, dude, we get it. It looks nice. Can we move on, please? Time for a commercial break.
And we're back, and the spiders are about to eat them.
Yep.
Those motherfucking spiders.
Boo whoop! Da, 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 da. He got stoned. And only one of them had actually tripped.
Sweet house supper. Now, I don't know how many
This is a
spiders
talk
Bilbo
while
actually
you work
kills
world.
during this segment of the book. Do you recall?
He does kill at least
Okay.
one. 'Cause he does have the sword, and he's got to cut the pursuit. I think the other spiders just become afraid of Sting. Apricot. Fig.
Sting.
Dried
Sting.
strawberries.
Sting! As a kid, this scene was always really badass to me. Somehow Sting is just shooting all these blue
And it's
lasers at
seizure-proof.
spiders.
That part, not so much. And so it was during the the original television broadcast release of The Hobbit, that in 1977 we had confirmed over 10,000 epileptic seizures.
No, because it's just blue. It's not blue and red. You need two different flashing colors in order to induce epilepsy, usually.
And you've never had an epileptic seizure, right, Gerda?
Not as far as I know.
Yeah, neither have I. I knew people who had seizures. They love video games.
So Bilbo, how do you like your
Yep,
first
and
D&D
he makes it
campaign
right before
so
the door
far?
closes. Blah. Until they feel inclined to tell us exactly what we Romanians want to know. Now here was a decent little stopover. Is well, now everybody's locked up. Although I must say that happens rather frequently in The Hobbit. Is the dwarves all get wrangled up in fishnets, and Bilbo's got to catch them at the fishery.
Yeah. Bilbo, again, it's one of the problems that the story has from its inception. Bilbo's the only important character. The dwarves are just here to be an adventuring party, and they don't do really anything.
Yeah. Like why was Pete in the Droogs with Alex, Georgie, and Dim? It's so that there would be a fourth person there, and then in A Clockwork Orange, the movie, Pete literally did nothing except be there.
Mind you, Clockwork Orange is more about the leader of that gang as opposed to the gang itself.
Oh. Right.
the drinking song.
Oh, I do remember. Yep, they all take some great like Fluvian wine or something. They all fall asleep, and that gives Bilbo enough time and diversion to make the great escape.
Rolling down the
La
road.
la 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 la. Throw it down the hole. Take a fucking shit.
So, you ready for one of the most expanded parts of Desolation of Smaug?
I'm not too imaginative now.
Bilbo, your hometown is called the Shire. Okay, that literally means the house.
The desolation. He's drunk.
So that was the first. That was the second third of Desolation of Smaug.
Just him saying, I
Pretty
am
much,
Thorin.
yeah.
I have returned.
And this is the third fourth.
Oh, thank God. Tolkien has a great sense of what is comforting and what is terrifying. Well, this is very comforting to have lots and lots of help.
It's lots of help, but they don't actually cash in on it in this version of the story.
Well, it reinforces the theme that there is strength in numbers, except that Bilbo does everything his goddamn self.
Everything his goddamn self.
We made it to the desolation.
God, I love this movie.
Yeah, this movie's a good time.
I have a difficult time actually talking over this movie because I keep wanting to just listen to the narration that Bilbo does. And there's a lot of narration in this movie.
Oh, of course. And again, I must say, I actually forgot, or maybe didn't fully register, that Gandalf was the one who prompted Bilbo to start writing there and back again.
Yep. Shine upon the keyhole.
And then stuff just happens, just like in every masterful story ever told. By my beard.
So what's the main instrument for this track in the background right now, Cloud?
A flute.
Cool.
Yeah. Flutes are
The
awesome.
only professional flute
Ian
player I know
Anderson.
is Jethro Tull, so...
Yeah, I just said Ian Anderson. That's, I think, how many flute players come to mind? Just him.
That's sad, honestly, because flute is honestly one of the woodwind instruments that's really, really impressive if it's played really well. You can do a lot with the flute.
It's all in the embouchure, lip formation, and spitting mad skills.
Of course not.
Because if I do, you will probably throw me over the cliff. And my chubby
And
little
then
body
nothing
will
will
be
get
no
done.
more. And then you
I
guys will
love
wait
this
for me to
narration
climb
scene
back
right
up.
Here, man. Bilbo battling with his own insecurities is great.
Oh yeah, that's right. The opening scene with Smog is full of rather humorous interplay in such a situation as he can't see me. He can't see me. The worm. You see, really, it's Lucifer who lies ahead. He's proud, and he has lots of stuff that he's proud of.
Nah. Smog is more akin to Baphomet or Baphomet as opposed to Lucifer, because he's really a sleeping threat. And if you leave him alone, he won't fucking bother you. But if you piss him off, he'll wreck all of your shit. I'm sure if we twisted it enough, we could probably compare him to Lilith, but we're not going to do that. At least I hope not.
Oh, home on the range, where the dragons and hobbits all play. The
Where
treasure
gold
is
is
here. He
absurd,
was
and
drinking
storylines are
beer,
heard
and
from
then he
every
got
dale and
away.
way.
Oh, home on the range, where the thrush and the habits all play. This smug has headlights for both of his eyes, but he can't see a fucking thing.
I'll admit that the pauses are a bit odd, but the performance in general is pretty solid for Smog. Yes, he looks like a cat, but, I'm cool with that.
He sounds very patient.
They fall utterly short of
Yeah,
reality.
that's right. He flatters him.
He's trying to play on that Lucifer angle that you brought up, but again, he's not really Lucifer.
Yeah, he's the legend of the dragon always said that the dragon guarded a treasure. And of course, because the dragon is fearsome, the treasure is unreachable.
So what's the treasure that Vladimir guarded then?
Who's Vladimir?
In Turkish lore, Vlad the Impaler was actually from the clan of the dragon.
Well, his father was in the clan of the dragon. And then, because his name was Dracul, so his son, according to the clan, was Dracula, son of the dragon. I mean, he was a count. He had to have at least some money. Because in the Eastern tradition, you can make yourself a count just by having lots of money.
Oh, and he had a military force too.
And a malice comparable to the Marquis de Sade.
So the Lakemen would steal my treasure.
I am angry now. See, it's Bilbo's fault that some men lose their lives and are mourned for by their other men.
But I love this upcoming soliloquy. This is so awesome. I will attempt to shut up for this because this is just too kick-ass.
I am fully awake now. Did Smog have an accent in the movie?
He was played by Benedict Cumberbatch, so kind of.
Because the one thing I've noticed this entire movie so far is that I have heard not one English accent. I mean, we heard like French-Romanian, we've heard Western, heard basic as fuck, and we heard polite little man.
As a kid, I loved that soliloquy so much that I actually rehearsed it. I never got a chance to perform it because, I was also, a shy child and incapable of really doing much performing. But I fucking love that soliloquy so much.
Because back in the old days, when Big Man was talking, you don't interrupt Big Man.
Especially when he sounds like that, and he's describing to you how big he fucking is.
Just to make it perfectly clear, this dude is huge.
Rare and wonderful, huh?
I have to draw you.
Your left breast is bare as a snail out of its shell. Is that not one of your favorite similes in popular fiction, Mr. Cloud?
More riddles? I love riddles. Don't go. I have a whole book, all dusty, on my shelf.
Bilbo, stop showing off.
See, he was ready this whole time. He just couldn't see his target.
Right. And so Bilbo became an ashtray.
And so 007 escaped from the Russian missile installation where Renard had escaped with approximately 1 ton of pure plutonium.
Extinguish me! See, the movie does have decent comedic moments in it. They're just, very rarely spaced out. Now
You
we can
got
drink more
something.
rocks.
See? See? Don't touch the treasure. None of you.
And our final
What?
commercial break.
What? And we're back. It was a dark, stormy night when a dragon came down and killed everybody.
The end.
You are currently watching The Hobbit, brought to you by TBS. Son of a bitch. Look, I can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Fuck yourself. Beep.
And this is where Desolation of Smaug ends. Just right here, as Smaug is flying out to Lake Town. Fuck
Yes.
Desolation of Smaug.
Because I have 2 missed calls. Oh, thank God. Every sentient creature speaks the same language.
That's not actually something that Tolkien expands on, is it? I mean, there is separate
It
languages
kind
for
of
these creatures. But he never actually goes into
Well,
what the
that's-
language of the avian creatures is.
Well, Gandalf is the only one who can speak it, I think. Kind of like how Dumbledore can talk to the mer people at Lake Hogwarts. How did the man with the cane get outside so fast?
He was already out there trying to wade in his own piss because one of the things that Lake Town is famous for is having really, really good bars.
Oh, I love this red scale.
It's very effective to exposing just how much fire is on screen.
No, well, it's got that
Bard,
glow.
we're dead. Fuck you.
He's dead. He's dead. They can't swim. Oh, I mean, maybe... I mean, they fucking live in Lake Town. I hope they can swim.
I have helicopter wings.
I do... I speak helicopter. What is it?
Swoosh!
Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Yeah. Fucking
And so
Luke
Bard
destroyed the
Guardsman
Death Star.
successfully slayed Smaug the dragon, although it sank Lake Town in doing so.
He saw the exhaust port on the left side. Probably about the size of a womp rat.
Actually, the hole that they're referring to is much smaller than that of a womp rat, because a womp rat is about a full meter across.
So who's the better shot? Bard the Guardsman or Luke Skywalker?
Bard. You see, Bard made that shot with a bow and arrow
Bard.
into the sky against a moving target.
With the force of gravity against him. The seven
Yes.
dwarves can't believe it.
Yes, actually.
I
And that
found
sequence
this
was the
musty
first
piece of
third
paper.
of Battle of Five Armies.
It's like starting anew all over again.
Hi, Bard.
Thorin.
The other is mine. Now, I don't actually get his specific complaint. If he's complaining about smog, that wasn't the dwarves' fault.
See, and this, now that the carcass is making sweet sounds over the years, all the hungry creatures are coming out to fucking pull to pieces with their teeth. Ba, ba, ba. 2 hours.
Do, 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 do,
Preparation montage.
do, 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 do,
Ah, C minor.
do,
Now quick, get the hot oil ready. We're going to pour it on their heads.
Actually, in this version, Bilbo doesn't get the mithril. You're still useless, Thorin.
Because you don't understand how we view death. Quiet. Relieve my madness. News has spread far that Smaug is
Yes.
dead. 1, 2, 3. My goodness. All right, everybody march real slowly.
Kill the men! Kill the elves! Save the gold for
Die!
yourselves!
Die! Everybody die!
Hi, Gandalf.
Wait, what? The fucking camera pan did a double take on Gandalf. A wizard is never late nor early. He's always on time.
That's almost the line that he said in Fellowship of the Ring. Now, having used Wolf Riders in Master of Magic, I can personally say that they're not that big a threat.
They had the element of surprise up until Gandalf gave them away.
True.
They would have gotten fucked up.
Oh,
All
yeah.
of them.
Together!
By the power of friendship, man. What, Bilbo, why did you take off your armor? I don't remember that. That's why he gets knocked unconscious. It's because he's an idiot.
I mean, kind of, but he gets hit in the head, remember? And he wasn't wearing a helmet.
But he did have a helmet on. He just...
No, not in this version. He did not have a helmet.
I can count.
You ready for the second time the Eagles appear as a Deus Ex Machina? Whoosh!
See, the chapter in The Hobbit was called The Battle of the Five Armies. It was honestly one of the shortest fucking chapters in the entire book, and that's the name of the last piece of the Hobbit trilogy.
Yes.
Drop them.
Drop them upon
Yes.
themselves.
Just like ink on paper, it's dot warfare.
Yep.
Okay, that's where Bilbo was sitting. Oh, okay, so he got hit in the head while he was sitting on the rock.
Yeah.
But he still remembered to put his magic ring
he just
on.
passed out, actually.
I missed the whole thing, of course. And so all the bodies stank the air. We lost Bofer, Biffo, Dahmer, and Dicko.
Balin survives this battle. He's the only one that I know that survives for certain, though. I think a Bomber dies,
Thorin is
Thorin dies
funny.
after the battle's over, but Balin lives.
Because Thorin, he's always in the seat where he's in the throne of his ancestors, just on the brink of becoming who he was meant to be. And here, like, he thinks he's dying, so he's like, "Oh, I can see all my grandfathers going back. Yes. Oh, God damn it, I'm not dying yet. Fuck." Strange cousins from the west.
Food and cheer is better than money, dude.
Ah, I see. So ambition is the cause of all demise.
And so Thorin is put to rest. Yeah, Gandalf, I didn't have a way to bring it home.
Experience. Actually doing something with your goddamn life for a change. Instead of just
Nearly
staying
getting
at
killed
home
by
all day
giant
and
spiders.
cooking and drinking tea. And smoking pipes. There are some desserts even sweeter than muffins.
Very few. Most of them were.
Yes, very fine. Because you see, the best lesson here is that it's okay to let people take advantage of you.
And force you to go on long adventures that get you killed nearly 17 times.
The eye of your front door shall watch all intruders.
Fuck you, Gandalf.
A Hobbit's holiday. I think the show calls this a Hobbit's holiday, but I think it's just a
Yeah.
Hobbit's journey. And soon he will break
Not
that
sure.
case open with reckless abandon and seize the ring one last time.
Yeah. But I love this movie. This movie is kick-ass. I love its score. I love a majority of its art direction. I love a lot of the songs in it, and it's a movie that I can pop in pretty much any month out of the year and just sit down and enjoy it.
I adored this movie, and it's impressive to condense such a brief tale because The Hobbit is not a long book, and put it in a rendering that makes sense. Although I think they gave Gollum just a little too much time because Gollum also missed his return, and I think that if it wasn't for the sequels, we would never see Gollum again. Because he does not appear, even though he swears eternal vengeance on Bilbo. But that is not exactly until other tales. That's why I think it's awkward. But the whole movie overall is pretty fucking good. Brought to you by Rankin Bass.
Yeah. You know those guys that did the claymation Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Alright, so this has been The Hobbit from 1977 with the remastered and fan projects for digital restoration and shit. Yeah, I love this movie.
They did. This is pleasing to us.
I will say that this
want it.
particular version of this movie has got a couple of problems with it, with the enhanced audio actually, striking some scenes down a peg, whereas before they were just decent enough. But I still love this movie.
We demand retribution.
Yeah, I still don't understand what the hell the Elf King was going on about. Was he mad at Smaug? Was he mad at the dwarves?
Just take his word for it. That's one thing with reading Tolkien is that because sometimes he lacks information. Just take his word for it. The man knows what he's talking about.
Well, sometimes, and then he'll write 3 chapters into the Silmarillion explaining what he was talking about when it's no longer important. So would you recommend this to other people, Mr. Cloud?
Awkward question. Well, they would have to be hardcore Lord of the Rings fans, of whom I know very few, and they would also have to have some, a little more childish sensibilities, kind of like you and me, which many of my people I know are dead and cold inside.
Yeah, real life sucks. Whereas for me, as long as you're able to watch children's entertainment in general, and find something entertaining about it, I actually would recommend this to most anyone.
Oh yeah, totally. It's charming.
Very charming, very whimsical.
They
Much
scurry to the
Doge.
trees. Oh, what shall we do?
With the funny
They
little
went to pee
things.
with their funny little things.
All right then, this
They're
has been
funny
us
little things.
doing an audio commentary over the Hobbit 77. Tune in next time when our next season when we do something totally different, right, Mr. Cloud?
Yes. Ready or right, Mr. Gerdat.
All right, be safe, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everybody.